I was really lucky, and unfortunately, like, I wish I was one of those moms that as soon as I had my baby, my milk came in. Like, no, my milk came in 4 days later. So, even though I still had to start her off supplementing on formula, I was still determined, like, I'm going to make this work. And at some point she's going to be exclusively breastfed.
Hi everyone, thank you for joining me today. My name is Krista, I'm from Mommy Knows Best. And today we have Yajaira, and the first time I saw Yajaira was in our Mommy Facebook group, and she posted all about different tips and tricks she had for the differences between breastfeeding now as, a second-time mom, but first-time breastfeeder. And I just thought she had so much important information to share that so many moms could benefit from. So welcome, Yajaira.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So just to get started, just tell us a little bit about you and your family and just your journey in motherhood.
Yeah, absolutely. So I have my youngest daughter, Aria, here. She's going to be 3 months. And I'm a mommy of 2, and we've prayed for this little miracle baby for quite some time. She's our little rainbow baby. I've got a 5-year-old. We're an interracial couple that teaches love and acceptance. And just, my biggest thing is I just want to spread happiness and kind of show that to my girls.
So what would you say was the biggest adjustment when it came to having 2 kids instead of just 1?
Well, there's a lot of big adjustments, but I think the biggest one for me would be just scheduling in general. So, and what I mean by that is not just getting out the door and getting somewhere and, getting ready, but also just like trying to schedule my day where I can, when I'm home and not working, fit in chores or try to cook dinner or try to even wash dishes or do the laundry so everyone has clean clothes to wear and no one goes out the door butt naked. Because it's hard, because now I've got a 6-year-old, almost 6-year-old who's really independent and has been since she was 3, just kind of like, I got this. And then, now I've got a little baby who's like, mom.
Oh yeah, I bet. So let's talk about your breastfeeding journey. I know you're really an open book when it comes to the struggles that you've gone through, and then kind of what you've kind of made your own and how you do breastfeeding now. Let's start back when it came to your oldest daughter. What was your biggest struggle with trying to breastfeed?
Honestly, I'm going to say for me, looking back on it and comparing my experience now, and then when I was a first-time mom, I feel like the biggest struggle and where it started was in the hospital. Like the very first day when you become a mom. So I gave birth to each of my daughters at 2 different hospitals, one in Connecticut and one here in Texas. The approach that the lactation consultants had and the approach that the nurses had, I know, yes, they were well-meaning, but the pressure of, first of all, you have pressure in your mind because you're going to be a first-time mom, right? Like, you don't know what you're doing. This is your first go at this. But then the pressure that they made you, it was almost like if you couldn't breastfeed your daughter or your child and you couldn't supplement them that way, you were almost like already failing. And it wasn't intended to come across that way. But when you feel that pressure and you feel like, oh my gosh, if I can't do this, and now you're stressing, and the biggest thing is you're not supposed to stress, right? So now you're stressing, like, I can't be a failure as a mom. Like, this is the most basic thing I need to be doing. I cannot fail. They had the lactation consultant. Yes, they had classes, but it was almost like it made you feel like if you were asking for help, you were already like, okay, yeah, you kind of suck at this, where when I had my second daughter, Aria, they were super supportive and they're like, go at your own pace. Don't worry, it's going to come in. And, just like, oh, look at her latch. She's awesome. Because both of my daughters, I was lucky where they latched perfectly right away. So there was no issue there. It was just, I think, not only my body, but my mental battle. And I was more mentally prepared the second time around. And the first time around, I already felt like before I even started kind of defeated, I think. And that's the biggest thing, I think, is the difference.
Yeah, that can make such a huge difference. The people surrounding you and like the support right from the get-go. I
Yeah.
mean, they're going to instill all this stress in you, like, you have to do this. I mean, that's going to put a lot of pressure on you to be like, oh my gosh, if I don't do this, I'm failing, you know. So I can totally get how that can affect your journey completely. Did you know ahead of time that you wanted to try breastfeeding again?
I knew ahead of time because I knew that this was going to be my last pregnancy. It's because of medical complications. I had to have my tubes tied. I also had 2 C-sections in a row, just because I have I forget what it's called. Basically a heart-shaped uterus. The babies don't flip, and then because of that, I also had a bunch of other complications. Having a third one, it just didn't really, for my body, it just didn't really feel safe. So I knew this was going to be my last pregnancy. So I was like really determined to make it work this time, because I kind of felt like, I don't want to say I felt like I was cheated the first time around from that intimacy of motherhood, because I don't want to make other moms who can't do it feel like any less, and that's not the case. But I did want that bond. And I did feel the first time around, when I was first time mom, like, yes, supportive of all the other mommies who were breastfeeding up to a year or even 6 months. But I was also jealous, because I was like, man, I want that. I just want that. That's that one connection I want with my child. And so I was super determined to make it work this time around. And I did my research. And like I said, the support really made a difference. I was really lucky. And unfortunately, like, I wish I was one of those moms that as soon as I had my baby, my milk came in. Like, no, but my milk came in 4 days later. So, you know, even though I still had to start her off supplementing on formula, I was still determined, like, I'm going to make this work. And at some point she's going to be exclusively breastfed. And so she is.
Awesome. That's great. Yay. What are your biggest tips then for any mom watching that either is about to have a baby or they have one currently and they're struggling with breastfeeding? What are some of the things you do to help?
Honestly, for me, and this just goes with life in general, but especially like after you have a baby, postpartum is real. It doesn't matter how happy of a person you are. There's going to be something that's going to trigger you emotionally and make you sad, and you just don't need that added stress in your life. So for me, I always try to approach kind of like every situation with a sense of humor. So sometimes when I'm feeling like a cow and I'm like, great, I'm just a food factory, like, I play this funny little song, and it's called I'm a Cow. And I'll be breastfeeding or pumping, and I'm playing the song and I'm jamming to it, and I'm just kind of laughing at myself, because I feel like a positive outlook makes all the difference. It makes it not as taxing. Sometimes while I'm pumping, I've got, you know, a sheet mask on. So I kind of try to, because now I'm a mom of 2, right? I don't have a lot of alone time. I don't have a lot of me time. Yes, I'm pumping. Yes, I'm breastfeeding. But I'm also going to try and squeeze in that me time at the same time. So basically anything that you can do that might be so small that can make your soul happy, even if it's just for 5 minutes, try and do that, because it's going to help you get through those hard times where, why did I do this? You know, I'm so tired and I'm so stressed, and all those like little voices in your head that you hear. If you can just every once in a while just kind of have a sense of humor about it and laugh it off, it'll roll off your back and you're like, I got this, you know? So, I mean, that's kind of what worked for me, as well as, you know, having the right supplements, which thank God for Mommy's Knows Best, because I'm glad I finally found something that works for me.
That's awesome. We love hearing that and love seeing real life stories of someone that really benefited from the supplements. So I'm so happy to hear that they work for you. And I love that you talk about just to kind of enjoy the process and to have a little fun with it. Like, I mean, that's got to make a huge difference. Now you said you used Mommy Knows Best supplements. So what were the ones that you're currently using or had worked best for you in your journey?
I have my 3 golden supplements. I started off with your brewer's yeast, and I put that in my morning smoothies every day, because I'm not a big breakfast eater early in the morning, so I like smoothies. And so I just put that in my morning smoothie. Yeah, with coconut milk. Sorry, I'm breastfeeding right now. And, you know, it just helps me start my day. It gives me energy, an energy boost. And then, I don't feel bad for not having breakfast because I've had my breakfast smoothie. So it's the brewer's yeast, and then I do goat's roux, and then the fenugreek-free supplement you guys have, which is awesome because I started with fenugreek and I was doing like the mother's milk tea and stuff like that, and it had the opposite effect for me. It started drying me up. My supply decreased dramatically. My poor daughter, who already has GERD, was like crazy gassy, and so was I. So I was like, fenugreek does not work. Right. So it was like perfect timing when you guys came out with that, because I was like, yes, I will buy it.
I'm so glad to hear that it worked for you. So how did you prepare yourself both mentally and then for pumping and going back to work as well?
So I did ask a couple questions on our Mommy Knows Best support group, and just kind of like moms who have been pumping or just started basically, and like, hey, what works best for you? What are these tips and tricks? And, you just kind of take little bits and pieces and kind of incorporate it into your own. But the biggest thing was I found this portable electric breast pump that on Amazon, that by the way still works great, and it's like been my saving grace. And you just charge it. You can charge it in your car, you can charge it anywhere and pump anywhere. So that's been the biggest thing for me, because my pumping times are as I'm driving to work, because that's a 20-minute drive. So literally while I'm driving to work, I'm pumping, and I have my lunchtime, and then as I'm driving back home, I'm pumping. So without even thinking about it, I've already pumped 3 times in one day, and it's all thanks to that breast pump that just can go anywhere with me. Before I went back to work, I just had a heart-to-heart with my boss, who thank God I have an all-female staff, and I said, this is what I need, and if you can't do this for me, I don't think I can stay, but if you guys want me back, this is what I need. And they're super supportive, and they've given me everything I've asked for, including like not even having to stay till 8 o'clock at night. I can go home every day and leave work at 5 and still have time with both my girls and my family. So I'm super appreciative of that. And I think I learned this time around, compared to the first time around, to open my mouth and stick up for myself, because that was like the second biggest difference, I think, was like, I know what I need, and this is what I need for me and my baby, and I don't feel guilty asking for it. Where the first time around I was kind of like, hey, is it okay? No? Oh, that's fine. And then it's a huge difference.
I mean, especially in the Facebook group, I see so many moms get anxious about going back to work and being scared to talk to their boss. For any of those moms that are currently watching that are really struggling with going back to work or for confronting their boss, what tips would you say to them?
Just really think about what you want, and also kind of do the pros and the cons. Like we all know, going back to work, the pro is the money, right? Like you're going to get some financial support there, but really weigh all of the pros and the cons, and then really think about what you want. And I always tell people, because I used to be a manager too, in regards to scheduling and stuff, like think about in a perfect world what your perfect schedule would be, and kind of not cut that in half, but kind of say where you're willing to compromise. And then when you go and talk to your boss, it's the same thing when you're trying to haggle, right? You're going to ask for the highest or the most that you can get out of it. If they say no, you slowly kind of go down until you get to that point where this is my this is where I'm staying at. And then if they can't take that, then unfortunately you've got nothing to lose. And just, be assertive, but don't be aggressive with it. More like assertive, like this is what I need. You give me this and I'm willing to do this, and just kind of see where that takes you, because sometimes it's all about the approach.
I like to end each interview with a few, call them fun thinking, or kind of just extra questions, just to kind of get each mom's perspective. So just to get started for this, if you could have a billboard made today where you could share one tip with moms everywhere, what would you have it say?
It takes a village, and if you see a mama in need and a baby in need, ask them if they want help, or go ahead and jump in and help them in any way you can, because at the end of the day, sometimes the smallest act of kindness can make someone's day. Just try to support one another, because at the end of the day, we're women and we're strong, and we all did the same thing. We grew amazing little human beings in our body, and we need to help each other.
So what would you say is the hardest thing about being a mom?
Being a mom is tough, right? Because it's like God, I need a break. And then you're like, you get that break and you're like, gosh, I miss my kid. So going back to work is tough, because as much as I enjoy having that adult interaction, at the same time, I'm thinking about what my baby's doing. Going back to work has been the hardest thing for me, being a mom.
So on the other side of that, what is the best thing about being a mom?
By far, just seeing my oldest and my little one together. She's just super appreciative, and just seeing her, love her and hug her, and me being able to watch from the outside and seeing that love grow every day has been an amazing, heartwarming just feeling. And I just feel incredibly blessed that I was, one, picked to be these two humans' mommies. Like, out of everyone in the world, I got to be their mommy. And two, to just be able to see that is the best, most rewarding thing ever. And I'd do it all over again, no matter how hard it was.
Oh, that's awesome. What is a quote that you live by or think of often when it comes to parenting?
My mom once said to me, one day you'll understand what it's like to have your heart living outside of your body. And at the time, I was just like, yeah, you love us. Okay, great. I get it. Because I'm the oldest, and then I have my sister as well, my little sister. And then they were born, my babies. And I understand. I get it now. It's an amazing thing. So I always try to remind myself that no matter how hard it is, whatever I'm going through, it's worth it for them.
I think that's so beautiful, and I've never heard that before, so it's really cool. I just want to thank you for taking the time to sitting with me and just being so vulnerable and open with me. And there's so many moms watching that will benefit from it. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me, and thinking that my input can help someone. It can be easy to forget how amazing you are, and we're all amazing. We're super women. We grow humans. We've got superpowers. Like, no one else can do what we do, and no one else can bounce back and then take care of these little humans and love them the way we do.
Well, thank you everyone for watching. You can follow us at mommyknowsbest.com. We have a Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, all at Mommy Knows Best. And the private Facebook group we were talking about is called Mommy Knows Best Judgment Free Tribe. So you can check us out there.